This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And we're also brought to you by Parlay Play. Parlay Play is a lead pipe locking for parlay player props. Go to parlayplay.io and use promo code SGP for 100% deposit bonus today. All right, DJs, welcome back. It's your boy, Boston Capper, with the Fedex St. Jude Best Bet Show. A very special guest with still, I think, the best handle on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck we call it nowadays, John Haslbaur, a.k.a. PJ Tout. John, what's up, buddy?
Hello. I could listen to you pronounce parlay play all day.
It was so bad. As I was reading, I was like, oh, this ad reads so bad for me.
That must be, that had to be intentional that they stuck that one with you.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Did you give a fuck at all about the Wyndham?
I love the Wyndham. It's actually one of my favorite events. So with the history, Kevin Kisner winning, it's a type of tournament where the same type of player tends to win every year as ball strikers who are accurate, hit fairways, and are really good with their approaches in a specific range. Lucas Glover feels like the first not great putter to like ever win that tournament. Is like, if you go down the list, it's like Poston and Kisner, and even Jim Herman is only on the PGA Tour because
fucking Herman, he stole that ticket from me.
Would you have Billy Horschel?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I was there. I was right there with you when he was fumbling over the water bottle in the clubhouse.
Yep. I was like, this guy just stole my money. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a very helpless, demoralizing feeling to have Jim Herman, who just looks like a high school gym teacher, just snatch it away from you.
He looks like a creepy chemistry teacher who like flirts with the girls. Yeah, that's who he looks like. He doesn't even look like a gym teacher.
I can't believe he's still out and about here. Like, I would have thought he'd just retire after that one, right off into the sunset, but he's still trying. So bless him.
So I know you liked the tournament, but were you like emotionally invested at all last week?
I wasn't, because my outright card was not very good, but I'm as invested as my bets go. But you know, it was better than the Open and the 3M from like just a going down to the wire perspective, where it was just runaways with absolutely no Sunday drama. At least we had a little bit of it last week.
That's true. I just think I just got sick of the constant JT attention. I think that's what irritated me. And I was like, listen, I get it, but he also still sucks, and he's trying to play for 70th to get into the FedEx Cup. Like, it's not like he's some world beater who's trying to set some record. Like, he's just trying to squeak into the playoffs. Like, let's pump the brakes. Like, I don't know. The JT shit irritates me just because the JT stands. Like, he's got to play. He doesn't have to play. And I'm like, listen, if he plays on the U.S. Ryder Cup team and Zach Johnson picks him, I will openly root for the fucking Europeans.
No, I'm kind of waiting to put my Ryder Cup bets in until I see what that team looks like and see if he's on the team or not. Because if JT's on the team over, let's say,
Keegan, our boy Keegan,
sure, they're gonna make the USA a very slight more of a favorite than if JT was not on the team, just because the odds makers will be like, oh, Justin Thomas is here. But I would bet against us if Justin Thomas was on the team, because I just don't think he has it. I don't think he's going to make the team. It was an interesting little subplot. And I said probably a month ago, 2 months ago, with the Scottish, the Open, and these last two events in front of him, if you make the playoffs, you'll probably make the team. And if you can't make the top 70 on the PGA Tour this entire season over guys like Matt Neesmith and Ben Griffin, then what are we doing here for putting you on the team? There are so many other options.
Agreed. 100% agree. And what's funny is like, I feel like this happens every Ryder Cup. Like, there's always somebody. Like, the Kisner shit last time was a joke. Like, come on, like, everybody relax. You know what I mean? Like, relax. He is the worst fit for this course. Like, stop. It was one brand in particular who was really pushing it, and it was really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's just so crazy because, I mean, this team could look very, very different. And even if I'd want the US to win, it really could be at a pretty severe disadvantage, especially where they're playing. We haven't won there since 93. Like, these sneaky bum Euros probably will play well there. And like, I don't know, it's gonna be super interesting. So I saw plus 195 was the highest I saw still on Team Euro. And I think I'm seeing basically like 145, minus 145 is everywhere on US, at least what I saw around lunchtime.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair line. I don't
I think so
really
too.
I don't really bet anything at like minus 150. I don't really bet anything at like more than even odds or less than even odds. I just
I
don't like to.
went. I paid minus 240, minus 270, minus 300, all in the President's Cup, and I pushed in heavy. There's a Pottery Barn sectional and tables and all types of stuff. Got paid for by me eating the juice and basically leveraging myself everywhere I possibly could, like leading up to that tournament. Like that was the easiest. That's I hit like matchup parlays on daily basis. Like it was possibly the best gambling weekend of my life. If I'm being honest. Like it was fucking amazing.
Yes,
and I'm hoping we can do the same thing with the Ryder Cup.
That was a little bit, yeah. That's a different. I guess there's a different threshold because once you're past like minus 200, minus 300, then it's like, okay, this is what is supposed to happen. We're in like a weird in between with these odds right now. Where like I'm not jumping to bet USA minus 150, even if USA was like minus 120. If they were minus 120, I put a bet on it, but I still wouldn't go crazy on it. I don't have as much confidence in this team as I do in the last team that we had. No. Taking a step back, like
wagon,
like. DJ was cooking last time. JT was doing fine. The great players were just in better form than they are right now. And now it's just like, you have Scotty, and really after Scotty, it's like, would it shock me if Cantlay laid an egg? Would it shock me if Xander laid an egg? No, like that. They could do that. So we've got a lot of question marks. We've got a lot of very talented players who are not slam dunks to play well.
It's such a weird year when you go through and you think about the guys who haven't won. It's very strange. Like Cantlay didn't win. Xander didn't win. I guess Finau won Mexico. And I don't know. Like this, I think we need to so moving forward. Like it's all going to change now with like the fall swing being different. But I don't even know how some of these guys have these fucking points because it was so long ago that I fucking forget. How is it the same season? You know what I mean? Like JJ Spawn is in the top 70. What the hell did he do anything? Like I can't remember anything he's done. This was fucking 10 months ago.
I know it's JJ Spawn's a good example because he didn't even win this year. Like sometimes like a guy like Vincent Norman won one event and was like, whatever, like maybe a top 20 somewhere else. But he's in because he won an event. He gets all the points that way. Right. JJ Spawn, it's like, how did you get here? You were literally not a factor in any tournament I watched the entire season. Maybe wild. Sony, he was like sort of in the mix.
I guess, maybe. And that's a 30-person field. So what the hell does that count for? Getting 28th. You look at some of these guys. It's insane. Like Ben Griffin, like what is happening? Like how are these guys? Like Neesmith is a great example. like when was Neesmith missed 3 of his last 5 cuts? And I can't tell you the last time I've thought about Matthew Neesmith.
Yeah, part of me is like maybe it's a broken system if Matthew Neesmith can have just a good 3-week stretch and be absolutely awful the entire rest of the season, but that's enough. And the other half of me is like, man, JT was awful this entire season for him to have not accumulated more points than Matthew Neesmith.
Right, exactly.
How crash he was the entire season.
Exactly. And so I think that is the correct take. JT was so bad that he couldn't overtake Matthew Neesmith having a good 3-week stretch. Like that's how bad he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
JT just never had a hot stretch at all the entire season. So can't really feel too bad for him.
No, definitely not. So I don't know. So I think those are my thoughts on the Ryder Cup. So I want to talk to you about schedule before we jump into the FedEx St. Jude. But I got to talk to you guys about the Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. You got to sign up to get access to exclusive contests, including the NFL Win Totals contest with $1,000 first prize. Besides season-long contests, we also got weekly contests just for the Patreons, plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast, completely ad-free and full of the behind-the-scenes stories from SGPN. There's even a Discord channel just for the patrons, and only you can prevent corporate gambling. So do your part and sign up today, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. I think I said this last time, too. The worst podcast ever created, I think, will be released on the SGPN story. It was me and a former Bostonian who was part of the network screaming at each other for an hour and a half about Belichick. So, and it was completely unlistenable. It was fucking insane. Sean and Ryan were just trying to stop us from screaming, and neither. It was like 3 in the morning, like 2:30 in the morning, because they live out on the West Coast, and we're like, this was 10 years ago. We were half in the bag at 3 in the morning on like a Tuesday night, just screaming at each other. What do you think of the schedule, man? Like, there's one super egregious spot for me. There's multiple, but there's one that's just it just completely, absolutely blows my mind. I'm curious if it's the same one that you think. Like, what is the worst thing about this schedule?
Well, let's see. I'll start with what I like.
Okay.
And then I'll come back to what I don't like because
listen, this is a negative take program, sir. But fine, we'll allow your positivity. That's fine.
I said after the Mexico Open week was over on my weekly video show that event would make so much more sense after the West Coast swing if you just squeeze it in between like Mexico or in between like California to Phoenix. Because where it was on the schedule last year, I believe was like
it's like after the Florida swing.
Quail, like you were going like from Texas. No, you were going from Florida to Mexico back to Charlotte, and nobody went because they were like, that makes logistically zero sense.
Right.
And I think people were just like, oh, it's in Mexico, so it must be like kind of by Mayakoba, so we'll keep it on the East Coast. And like, no, it's literally an extension of California. So I'm glad they did that because I actually really like that tournament. It's like a resort course, but it's not a pure birdie fest, and the wind makes it really tough. And it's actually a pretty easy event to handicap because anybody who bombs it just goes straight to the top.
Almost won. Cam almost won.
Cam Champ almost won. Wyndham Clark will eventually win there at some point. He's finished like top 10.
That's a good call.
Rahm like has dominated there too, but like just because nobody else wants to go to that tournament. So I would like to see that get a better field.
I can see that. That'd be all right. What else do you like?
I like that we have a new tournament in Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach seems like a great It's a great market for golf.
Yeah.
Everybody loves going to Myrtle Beach for golf.
Myrtle Beach, part of any Myrtle Beach listeners, I'm sorry, it's very, very trashy, right? Like there's no question about it.
It is the like Spirit Airlines hub for a reason.
Yeah, it's white trash Riviera, but it's super fun. Like it's like I've taken the kids there, stayed on the beach. It's a good time, and like I know a ton of people who go there because there's so many good courses in the area, and it's super easy to plan a golf trip there. So
yeah, and I've done a bachelor party there too, and it was a golf centric bachelor party, and it was fantastic. But yeah, okay, so that's an opposite field event. I think it's a
too bad DJ can't play that one.
Yeah, oh, maybe we
get a crossover.
Put the differences aside by then and resolve something, and we do see DJ back. But yeah, he's like the pride of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, exactly.
That's running opposite an event that I was like, why does that get an opposite event? Or an event opposite of it.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on what it is. That might have been like the RBC Heritage has like an opposite field to it now.
That's it. I feel like that RBC. No, well, the Open got screwed. Yeah, the Open got screwed. Yeah, because they're in a weird spot. They're in between. Aren't they in between like the Open and I feel like it was worse this year than it was this past year. Hang on, let's pull it up.
Oh wait, there's also the Olympics this year fall between the 3M Open and the Wyndham. That's weird. That's really weird
at all.
Okay, wait.
I don't care about the Olympics at all.
Tell me what you did not like about the schedule.
The fucking players being a no-cut event.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Like, no, that's terrible.
It's the worst. Like, what do you mean it's a no-cut event? Like, that's what made it what all the nerds want to talk about, like the fifth major. Everybody knew it's not the fifth major, but it was the best collection of talent before these elevated events, and the wonkiness of Sawgrass and the ability to eject in a day, and like unbelievable that they turned this into a no-cut event. Like that's unbelievable.
That's all. I did not realize that. That's awful because that's the type of big event that literally the 100th best player in the field could win.
Yeah, that's like, all the drama. Like now, like I don't know, especially as somebody, I got go every year. Like it's my local tournament, and it's I was just super disappointed in that. Like,
oh, that's horrible. So there's 4 signature events that retain their cut, right?
Yep.
And that's Genesis.
Yep. Tiger's like Fuck you. We're having a cut.
API Pebble Beach.
Yes, because they're kicking the amateurs off after the first 2 days.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That's a fucking great idea. That is an absolute that because Pebble Beach is such a cool course, but it was such an unwatchable golf event. Fucking watching these schlubs. Like, listen, I like Jason Bateman as much as the next guy, but I don't give a shit about his swing. You know what I mean? Like, I do not care. All. Not even in the slightest. Like, the Bill Murray shit was funny to me 15 years ago. Not so funny anymore. Like, it's the same shtick over and over again. Yeah, I get it, Bill. You're kind of quirky.
Yeah, I'm done with it. It's died its death. Like, we can move past it. I was watching the women's major there, and it was amazing because
so much better.
Like, it's such an amazing, historic, iconic course, and it's still tough despite not being long really at all. But the cliffs, the water, the wind, it's all in play. It makes it so tough. So I hope we do get all the best players in the world there, because that actually has recently gone against like the Saudi International. And the Saudi tournament has crushed it.
The last 2 or 3 years, absolute trash. Fucking Hoagie won 2 years ago, for Christ's sake.
Nobody was playing.
Like no, like come on, get out of here with that shit. So what's the fourth one? So is it API? Is the Heritage no cut?
I'm not sure. I'm looking through this now.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through it.
Like I can see all of these signature events.
Me too, but I can't figure out which ones has a cut, which ones doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Fucking who cares? But either way, so I don't know. I'm curious to see how this fall swing thing's gonna go. As far as like who's gonna play, who's not gonna play. Like, apparently guys who still qualify can play, but they won't accumulate FedEx points. I'm still kind of confused on the whole fucking thing. Like, I'm not quite sure what so like if the guys already, so do they start fresh after the fall swing, and how do they like calculate last year's versus the fall swing? Because if you're not letting the better guys accumulate points in the fall swing, then like, so I'm going to have like, JJ Spawn be the points leader at the beginning of the new season because he played the fall swing, you know what I mean? Like, or something like that. I don't know how it's working. Like, I have no idea.
My understand, obviously details are not out yet, and they won't be for a little bit. So there will be fall events. Like this.
Oh, let's change that. Nope, let's change that. Yeah, exactly.
Let's just not listen to what anybody who actually knows what they're doing is giving us feedback, and we'll just make up. Yeah. We'll make up a blind solution.
Make it up as we go along.
But
what did you say, Prince? What do you need? Okay, we'll do it this way. Yes, Prince. Yes,
exactly. But it seems like it's kind of like this jockeying for position, like purgatory part in the schedule, where the schedule going forward is actually a calendar year schedule, which is cool. Like when we say it's the 2024 whatever event, it's actually falling in 2024. Right. That's good. Like from a content perspective, that always confused me. I never knew what.
Me too.
Right. So now we just know if it's January, it's a 2024 event. If it's fall, we're gonna have like a weird, awkward situation in October, November.
I can't wait to see what the sports books do with the fucking fall swings. Like, who's gonna like? They can't shove fucking less than 10-1 down our throats on these tournaments.
No,
let's see.
I don't know how many people they could put in these fields either, because if you're in the top 70, if you're in the playoffs, then you're qualified for a bunch of the events, and if you get to East Lake, you're qualified for all the signature ones. So they're playing for basically, if it's a field of 150. They're playing to be the next 70, and they're trying to be like the top 7 or the top 50 or something. Top 50 players from the fall swing will move on. So that's what's at stake. And I guess obviously like there's purse at stake, but the FedEx point, this will prevent a Matthew Neesmith situation from happening next year, when somebody a full year out who hasn't played well at all in the last 8 months can't bank on how well they played against nobodies to get into the playoffs. Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to the chaos, because anything to change it up a little bit is fine and fun. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe we'll get some new guys who we have no idea, and we'll waste a shit ton of money on some new guy that will never fucking win. Like some of these new favorite toys that we get. Like, he hits the ball so good, he just can't putt. He'll get it one week, and they never get it. You can't wait to waste more money on guys I never heard of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like bet the John Deere for 2 months in a row. Like that, the John Deere I think had maybe one top 70 guy in it. So that's basically what we're working with here, and
I didn't
I'm
do
okay with that.
I didn't do the deer. I needed
Just
because we talked about this offline. Like, you're so golf tired by this point, and it's like, all right. So I didn't do the deer, and then I don't know. My schedule didn't match up with Matt's, and Steve was on vacation. I was like, you know what? Nobody gives a fuck about the 3M either. I'm not doing the 3M either. I'm just taking a fucking another week. I'm good. I'm taking a break.
nobody
So
would blame you.
no, and yeah, but I think putting the new spin on it and getting some new characters in here, and it looks like there's some decent courses on the fall swing anyway. So whatever, we'll see where it's at. All right, well, listen, before we break down the actual betting board, here comes John's favorite ad read of mine. We're brought to you by Parlay Play. Parlay Play is a great way to get down on your favorite parlayed player props. Football season is right around the corner, and Parlay Play will have all your favorite props. Parlay Play is in a ton of states, including California and Texas, plus our good friends up north. Parlay Play is available in a bunch of provinces in Canada. And when you sign up with our code, you get a sweet bonus to get started. Head over to parlayplay.io and use promo code SGP for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's parlayplay.io. Promo code SGP. So you can play. You can lay some bets up in Montreal when you're up there on the Parlay Play.
Oh, that's good to know. We're going to a Canadian Football League game, and we're trying to.
Are you really?
We know nothing about the league. We know no players, but we're trying to
not.
kind of like squad ride on a few same game parlays. Just put a whole bunch of props together and hope we strike gold.
Reach out to. I'm sure Jeff knows shit about fucking Canadian football, right? You would assume?
Yeah. Any CFL touts out there, if you're listening, please give me a prop to ride, because we
just
will
type in CFL tout and see what comes out. It'll match yours and see what it comes in. see if there's anybody out there that's CFL tout.
Oh, there's a hashtag CFL tout from Rob Pizzola. I know Rob Pizzola.
Yeah. He's on the Mayo. He's one of the Mayo guys.
Yeah. He said this about okay, I'm gonna follow this guy. He's a host on TSN. This has been productive.
Isn't Pizzola on the fucking? Isn't he the one that goes on Mayo?
Yeah. He was commenting on somebody else. He was calling somebody else a CFL tout. So now I've found who I need to tell. I'll DM this guy and get him to do the parlay.
Like 199 package, bro. I got you covered, guaranteed. 180%. I'm 92-2 over my last 94 plays. Yeah, sure you are.
All green checks.
Fucking Christ. By the way, Twitter has become something. It was already bad, and now it's even fucking worse, which is crazy. I'm like,
what's Twitter?
What is happening? X, whatever you call it. Yeah, exactly.
Never heard of her.
Where all these gambling bots come from? Anytime you type anything, it's like it's just something that posts underneath you. Like, I'm 29-1 over my last 30 plays. Follow. I'm like, who clicks on these things? That's what I want to know. Somebody's clicking on it.
Everyone except me is undefeated in golf betting this year, according to my mentions.
Super fun. All right. Speaking of golf betting, we got a short field this week. We're very familiar with the course. I don't know. It's we haven't got burned by the top of the board lately, but I'm still gonna avoid it. Do you like anybody up top? Anybody under 20-1?
I don't think it's worth paying up for here. There's so much water. There's so many and wind. The combination of water and wind is like exactly what makes Sawgrass such a volatile event. That's not a place where I've jump on the favorites. Obviously, Scotty did win as a favorite. That's always that could happen anywhere. Yeah. But I don't think this is the type of event. It's not like an Oak Hill situation where a specific skill set is going to give you a distinct advantage over the field. This is a short course where one bad swing and you could easily make double. You could hit good swings on and catch a downwind on some really firm and fast greens, trickle into a tough lie with some tricky like Bermuda around this green. So I think this is a place where like good shots can go unrewarded, which is a good recipe for long.
Don't bet Terrell Hatton then. I hope Terrell Hatton's not on your card. He hates fucking unfair golf courses.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. There are certain guys who I have ridden for so long that I'm not going to let this be the tournament that
all right. Okay, listen, I get that. I 100% get that. There's plenty of guys that I throw good money and have to bet on. No question. Like all types of guys. I guess of the top three, if you were going to like single bullet or just bet one of the top guys and then, I don't know, pepper somebody or long shot, 60 to 1 or later. Who are the top 3 do you think will take, has the best shot?
I actually like Rory.
Okay. Why?
He's the only one who lives in Florida.
Okay.
So he knows Bermuda.
All right.
And the Bermuda guy, like the Florida, this is a Florida course. I mean, we're in Memphis, but everything about this course is Florida golf.
Oh yeah. When I watched it on TV the first time, I was like, wait, is this tournament in Florida?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Everything about it just looks and feels like a Florida course. The guys who have played well here historically, like JT, DJ, Berger, they're all like Florida lifers.
Berger's won here. This Berger won here like twice.
Yeah, and Brooks as well. Brooks has won here. He's a Florida native. So there's something about those like Florida ties, knowing Bermuda.
Bermuda, man. Bermuda's a fucking nightmare.
I can't stand Bermuda. I am a nightmare.
Bro, I play it. That's all I play. It's fucking nightmare.
I am only playing it when I'm like on trips and stuff, and I'm supposed to be having a good time, and I'm miserable. Especially Bermuda Rough. Bermuda Rough gives me nightmares.
Oh, dude, it's the fucking worst. Like I literally have the confidence I have in my chipping around the green is the most negative number you could imagine, like negative bazillion. Like forget about it. Like I have no confidence. I'm like shaking over. Like I'm like 3 feet from the green. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking skull it. I'm gonna hit it wrong. I can't tell which way the grain's going.
Yeah, no, that's the hardest thing. The grain makes no sense. I don't know. Like even if I knew exactly what grain was doing, I'm an awful chipper, so that's not even an excuse for me. But there's something about the Florida guys who do well in Bermuda that seems to be a constant at this course. Yeah. So I like Rory for that reason. He has really good history here. Besides Harris English, who won here in 2013, he has the most like total strokes gained at this course. Rory is second. So from a course history standpoint,
fine.
His ball striking's been good. He putts well in Bermuda. I would go him slightly over Rahm and Scheffler this week.
I think I saw on Twitter he's got a new putter in the bag.
I did see that. Yeah, he's been experimenting.
I would be too. I was putting like him.
Scheffler needs to.
I broke my fuck. I broke my. So my first round since the heart attack, I went out and super hot, already fucking miserable, right? And just like couldn't putt. The greens were punched. They looked like shit. And I haven't lost my temper on a golf course. And when I say years, I mean legit years, like 2 or 3 years. And I was mad at the fucking greens. I was mad at how I was playing. So I took my Scotty Cameron and smashed it into my bag, and it fucking split in half. Fuck, now I gotta go fix this stupid fucking thing. Yeah, not happy. Not happy. That's what Bermuda chipping and putting will do to you, John. That's what it'll do to you.
I've done that to other clubs, not a putter.
Yeah,
maybe I should.
That's my first putter. That's my first putter. I've done. I feel like 7-iron is probably the most one that I've broken. I probably feel like I've reshafted a 7-iron at least 10 to 12 times in my life, and my driver at least twice.
Yeah, I've gone through 3 5-irons, so that must be a club that's not doing what I wanted to do.
So it's the 7-iron for me because that's the club that's like supposed to be like Mr. Reliable, nice and easy, 160, no problem, and then you chunk it or you do it multiple times in a round, and then that's the end of that 7-iron. I'm going to get you reshafted.
Yep, it's so hard to replace individual clubs. Not to get into a tangent, but they make it so difficult if you don't have like this year's version.
Oh,
it is impossible to find a club in your set. So then you're just working with like a random some other set. I've got a 5-iron that goes the exact same distance as my 6-iron now, and I'm like, why do I even have this club?
Dude, exactly, dude. So one of the times I broke my driver, and they sent me the shaft, right, and I put it in, and I'm like, this seems short. And I pick it up and I put it next to my 3-wood. It's the same exact fucking length as my goddamn 3-wood, just with a fatter head. I'm like, oh, so all right. Well, you didn't send me the correct one, so I guess we're gonna have to go buy a new fucking driver. And that's like my like driver off the deck one until I broke that one a couple years back. So but anyway, all right. So that was a nice little off tangent. But yeah, I mean, I get it with Rory. I just hate Rory, so I can never. I pick him when I think he's gonna win, and I don't know. I can't get that. Like you said, like anybody, like a lot of people can win this because of all the variable factors in it. So for me to eat the chalk at the top of the board, and look, I'm always scared of it, but because it has, especially, what was the last time the top of the board stole all our money? Who was it? Rory in Scotland.
Yeah,
Rory
that's right. Yeah,
that wasn't even that far back.
No, no, it's actually happened a lot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like sub
Rom,
10 to 1
Scott,
guys.
That's fucking miserable. It's just it's bad. And then all the narrative plays here too, which I'm too stubborn to get on. Like Ricky at Rocket. Who's the other super obvious one that I was like, there's no way that narrative's gonna come through. They were so fucking mad. I don't know. All right, so you don't have any bet on anybody underneath 20 to 1 here.
No. I just don't think.
Were you tempted by anybody?
No, I wouldn't say I was. I mean, I looked at Cantlay, like the model I ran, he was number 1 in, but it's very easy for me to talk myself off of Cantlay. So like Florida's not really his thing. He did have like his best result yet at, I forget if it was the Players or definitely API. He played well. But in general, like this is not really his type of event.
He avoids Florida.
Yes, he does.
Just like Brooks used to avoid California back in the day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like Cantlay probably feels the way about Bermuda that you do. And it's just like, if I don't have to play it, I don't want to do it, because that's how he designs his season. So
exactly.
So yeah, like I thought about him. I thought about Xander. I don't feel compelled to play Xander for the same reason. I almost played Vic.
What a weird blah season. What a weird blah season he had.
Both of them.
It's just
identical seasons, Cantlay and Xander.
It's just blah. Just like nothing. Just like never in contention, never. They don't seem like Xander just seems like dead inside. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, he was. I remember he was injured to start the year. Had that weird back thing happening at Century. I bet him at Century. He was like, "Yeah, I'll be fine," and then he literally withdrew like 5 holes into it. Like, why did you even go to Hawaii? What are you doing there?
You got the free trip. This is what he did. He got the free trip. He's got a nice resort. He's good. Even rich people are cheap, John.
I don't think I bet him after that, because I just held a grudge. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is the first. We just had like a whole 1 month layoff. I'm finally betting golf again, and it's a short field. I can only bet like 2 guys, and one of them Xander, and he withdrew immediately. I'm like, you ruined my kickoff to the season. So then I just didn't bet him the rest of the
year. So that's how I was with Cantlay. I swore Cantlay off this year. I haven't bet him once. I did bet Xander, I think twice, and then I swore him off after, I don't know, some tournament at the beginning of the year. I was like, nope, that's it. I've stuck to my guns, and it's worked out fine.
Yeah, profitable strategy to not bet either of these guys this year.
I thought about Vic at fucking 22, and I was like, or 20 as well for people who listen. His course history here is not great.
No,
it's not great.
And actually, most people in this field have bad course history here. All the guys with good course history are on live. It's insane.
No, that's not true.
Answer, DJ, Brooks.
Okay. All right. So
JT and Berger just aren't here.
That's fair.
Those are that's all the people who've won in the last 8 years.
Okay.
And Zalatoris also not here.
Fine. Win, yes, but good course history doesn't have to include a win. You're gonna be like decent at it.
But even still,
have performed well.
It's kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, it's like it is. And one of the guys on my cat, the longest one, he's just for the brand, and he has a terrible course history here. So what's the shortest number you got then? Who's the first guy in your cut?
My first guy's Hatton at 25. I know what I'm getting into, because every event this entire season, Hatton has had 3 great rounds and 1 awful one. And the awful one comes when he's on Saturday through the weekend in the mix, pars the first like 12 holes, then makes a bogey, and then throws his clubs and is out for the rest of the tournament. And then Sunday comes, he's like 10 strokes off the lead, and he birdies like 6 straight coming home,
shoots a 60,
and he finishes T3. Like,
it's insane.
And that's enough for me to be like, fuck this guy, I'm never doing it again. And then a few weeks pass, and I'm like, that's actually a pretty good number.
That's a good number. He's due. All the numbers look good.
He's due. All these European guys too, they crush in the Florida style courses. A lot of them just like have residencies over there. They want to stay where it's warm. They know Bermuda through that. All the English guys, Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Westwood, when he was over here.
What'd you get Hatton at?
25. He's like 25 on like every.
Is that still available?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, he's like 25 across the board.
Because Hatton's my guy. Like I lose money on him constantly.
Fellow club tosser.
Fellow club tosser, exactly. Anybody. So this is the problem. I like guys who aren't like your typical country club robots. You know what I mean? Like they grew up playing with, they're all same stock swing, same answer, same bullshit. Like I want a guy who has fire, who I feel like will fight for my money. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna fight for my money? Who's gonna do it? Who actually cares as much as I do? Like I don't want Cantlay. Looks like he doesn't give a shit about other than the fact that there might be a body warming up in the basement too much, like the freezer temperature wasn't correct. I love Hatton. His fire gets me, but what scares me about him is anytime I hear that like a course is unfair or it doesn't fit his eye, it makes me so scared, just because I've heard that after I've bet it and then he immediately ejects, and it's such a nightmare. But he hated Augusta, made the cut there this year. Insanely good form. And I got room for a Hatton at 25. So maybe I can add him.
Yeah. I think Sawgrass is one of the top comps. Just
makes
a lot of wind, a lot of water. It's positional. It don't have to be long. That was his best finish this year. So
what a shot on 18, bro.
Yeah.
Do you remember the shot he hit on 18?
Yeah, yeah. And you kind of knew it was
out of the woods. Fucking
it's amazing. It's a shame it was like Scheffler made it not even close, because that would have been an awesome moment, even if it like forced a playoff or something, or just forced Scheffler to like have to par the last hole.
Do something.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that was his obviously runner up. That was his best finish this year. Seems due for a win. He can play well in Florida. He always plays well in Florida. Won at API.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, and he'll probably do some stupid ejection and finish top 5, and I'll regret it later.
I'll join you on it. I already have him. I have him in the top 10 and top 20. So might as well just fucking go all in and fucking bet the go full head.
I'm looking at his results. He has one finish outside the top 20 in the last like 5 months. So seems
why don't do that.
It's only 70 people this week. Like top 20s are a pretty safe bet. I'm just saying. I'm knocking on wood, but I'm knocking on wood and crossing my fingers. But like,
oh Jesus, you know how superstitious I am, man. Don't do that to me. You're gonna give me a fucking stroke. That's why I can't go in Artano's Discord. Everybody's mushing everybody else's bets. I'm like, I can't even read it. I can't read it. I can't read it, or I'm just tilted all fucking day. All right, so he's the shortest guy. You got anybody in the 30 to 50 range?
So I started with Hatton and Morikawa, basically the same odds. Morikawa at like 27.
Morikawa is like, if you close your eyes and picture who should win here, it's Morikawa.
Yes, positional, short, irons. Actually reminds me
first round leader at TPC, Sawgrass.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I bet him every year at Sawgrass. Because he should win the Players. He should win there. It will come eventually. But doesn't Morikawa just feel like the 2023 version of Zalatoris, where like he just ball striking really great, didn't win all season, but is like too good to not have a win.
I feel like
concerned about the putter.
I feel like it's a little different. You know, Morikawa's won 2 majors, and Zalatoris hasn't won anything yet.
I'm just talking about this season. Because Morikawa is like one of the best players who hasn't won, and if you're not betting on him, you're like, can this guy actually win? Because he gagged the Century, and he gagged like
the Century was so painful.
It like almost erases some of his wins, because you're like, wait a second, this guy's not a closer at all.
Right. And because it was so bad too, it was bad. Like it was really bad. I didn't have money on him, so I was laughing. But I knew people who had money on him, so I laughed to myself. But I was dying laughing. Like I was like, oh my God, is he really gonna blow this? I mean, it's not Henley-esque, but it was pretty fucking bad.
I was having a conversation with Brian when we were in Rochester about
oh, that's right. You just played okay.
Yeah. We were talking.
Right, we'll talk about that after we go through the betting board. I gotta ask some questions.
For sure.
Right.
We were talking about what is the collapse of the year, and I argued for Danny Willett, and he said Colin, because it's a collapse in different ways. Danny Willett needed to 3-putt from 10 feet.
Yeah, I know. 10 feet
it
was bad
to get to a playoff, and 2-putt from there to win. And he didn't do that. So
it was bad.
That was all. That was like, okay, this guy just like get home here, and he couldn't do it. Collins was like a slow bleed, but he also got gunned down by the best player in the world. So I give him
that's also true. That's fair.
Him a little bit of a break for that, but he shit himself. They were both bad. for different reasons. And it's funny that
They're
they
both
happened
bad.
within like the very
month of each
beginning of
other.
the season, and then there was
Yeah.
nothing else like it.
That's fine. Well, Henley just did it this past weekend.
I wouldn't call that a collapse. He did bogey his
It's
last
Henley.
3.
You have to call it a collapse. It's the second time he's blown a 5-shot lead.
Did you watch the end of it?
No, I fucking I went back and watched.
So on like
I didn't watch
16 is a par 3 at the center of the green, and it spun back like legitimately like 60 feet, rolled off the green, and then rolled into a massive divot where he had to just hack out to the off the green basically. So he hit the center of the green and he made bogey. And then the next hole he did like block it into the trees. He had a good recovery shot, but it landed in an embedded lie that he got a ruling.
To an embedded lie.
He like bounced into somebody else's embedded lie, so he couldn't get relief out of it, and then he had to hack it. So he made another bogey, and then the last hole is just hard, and
the last hole
he just bogeyed it. So he bogeyed the last 3, but 2 of them were not entirely his fault.
That's so funny.
But
so he has the aura of a loser. That's Henley. Like that's why you don't bet guys like that. It's not
sort of just attract the bad luck when you have that reputation.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's 4 straight years of top 10s at the Wyndham for Henley, and he should have probably won all of them.
There's a reason mush is real, right? Like you just know, like when someone's a mush, and you hear him talking, you're like, fucking Christ, might as well just throw that shit out because it just is what it is. There's no explanation for it, but that's what it is. Like a mush is a mush. That's it. I don't mind Morikawa though. You're right. Morikawa should definitely have at least one win. I mean, who knows what would happen if he didn't withdraw with the back spasms? What is he, 2 shots off the lead, 3 shots off the lead?
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Like Zalatoris had back spasm issues before his win, and with him, it was like I understand that he's played this course well, but is he really going to hit enough putts to win a tournament? And that's exactly how I feel about Colin Morikawa. So
exactly,
if Zalatoris can win with his putter, then why not Morikawa?
All right, fuck it. I'll think about Morikawa too. You get the same number at 25. Is he still 25?
You can probably find 27.
Ooh,
that's what I got, and I bet it pretty late.
Okay,
maybe not. 25 might be the best.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. But listen, my first guy is 35. And Sam Burns.
Okay, I'm with you on him.
Oh, you like Burns?
Yeah.
Bermuda Burns. Look, dude, he struck the ball really well last week. He's been playing well. You talk about how difficult Bermuda is. Like, I've been waiting to play him for my one and done, literally for this spot. I'm like, or my short one and done. My big one and done, I probably got no shot at the money, but I'm within $3 million of the lead, and they all have nobody good left. And I saved Burns for this week and Cam Young for next week. Those are the 2 that I've saved because I know I needed some sort of stud. I was like, all right, listen, big purses at the end. These guys aren't thinking. I was like, Burns here. I mean, he came in second last year. Talk about somebody who just go nuclear with a putter. His approach play looked really, really good. He's always a kind of a question off the tee a little bit, but not really. Like I feel like he's gotten that more under control over the last couple of weeks. And that number I felt like was so good. Like it was like, oh, what? Boom. Like I didn't even think about it. Like, okay, I'm betting that. And then I'll go back and I'll talk myself into it after I bet that number. Does that make sense? Like, oh, that's wrong. I'm betting that.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. Everything you just said. Do you remember the playoff? He lost the answer and he was with Hideki.
The 19? Was it 19?
21.
21.
He could have won that. He had 2 putts, I think, in regulation in the first round of the playoff that just hit the lip. So he could easily been a champ here. He lost in the playoff, and then he came back last year. I think he was top 20. He's one of those guys where like he doesn't even need to have it ball striking because he can gain like 8 strokes putting, and he'll just do that, and it's not that surprising if he does. I personally have him last man on the team for the Ryder Cup. I think most people have him out, and either like Cam Young or Keegan in. But I think he's in.
So wait. Between Burns and Keegan, you're taking Burns?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
I know. I know your feelings on it.
Listen, I like Keegan. I love Burns too because he carried Scotty around in the President's Cup. So
yeah,
I'm fine with it. I don't want to see Finau. I don't want to see JT. I don't want to see Cam Young. Any of those guys over Keegan. Keegan fucking deserves it.
I think if he finishes top 10 this week, he's probably on the team.
Yeah, I think so too.
But one of those fringe guys is going to have a good week, and I think Burns is in the best position of the fringe guys to have a really good week this week.
Yeah, me too. I liked Cam Young too, just because bad putters can win here. But I just feel like it doesn't play to his strengths. Like so,
yeah.
I think next week's a little better at Olympia.
Totally agree. I love him next week. I think you could just play Young on all the Zalatoris courses. Like, seems like Young's playing pretty well in most of the majors. Yeah. Even at Augusta, he played well. Like,
yep.
If Zalatoris can win here, I don't see any reason why Cam Young can't.
Yeah, me either. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry. So Burns is my first guy. Who else? Do you have anybody in the 30 other than Burns in the around this range?
No, I basically went Hatton, Morikawa, Burns, and then I went a bunch of long shots, like 90 plus.
Okay, so I got a bad number on this guy. But I took him anyway. I got Straka at 60-1. I know he missed the cut last week, but dude, he's been in really fucking good form. He lost in a playoff to Zalatoris here.
Yep.
And here's the problem. I'm sure he's super chalky on people's betting cards because of the number, but I mean, really, he has 2 top 5s in his last 3. I'm trying to fucking find him. Where the hell did he go? And his form is so good here, and he got unlucky in that playoff that he lost. Like it was crazy. Like he got really unlucky, and I don't know. Straka just for whatever reason just can find himself in contention of these places. And listen, I'm fine with that at this number. And then I took the on-brand Keegs at fucking 80-1 because why not? Like I like him better at long iron courses, but he's long and straight. What's his name? Who's the guy who's the big mush for action? Sobel. Sobel talked to Keegan right before his round at TPC. So I'm going to chalk that up to why he didn't win TPC, because I was so confident Keegan was going to fucking win TPC this year. So I'm just going to drag this over to TPC Southwind. When I say TPC, everybody, I mean Sawgrass because I live here. So that like in my brain, that's the only TPC. But yeah, TPC Southwind. I'm going to take it from Sawgrass to Southwind. And listen, it's a waterlogged course. What was the other course that he lost? He put in the water on 16.
Valspar.
Yeah, Valspar. Yep, that was fun. Remember that ticket lighting on fire? Super fun.
But ever since he transplanted to Florida, he's actually been fantastic on the Florida swing, and he's really good. Like he's an automatic putter all of a sudden.
It was that stupid aim point. It takes forever, but it helps him. Did I tell you by the time I mushed him in person?
No,
it was at Sawgrass, and this was this must have been, I don't know, 17, 16, something like that. I don't know. This was a long time ago. And he's walking to 18, and me and the wife were hanging out by we were in the benefactor tent on 17. So I came out to watch him hit, followed him to the green, and he's going to 18. I'm following him in the tunnel. I'm like, bring home another title for Boston, Keegan. And he immediately put it into the water on 18. And I was like,
you can't get in his head.
To the tent. Yeah,
he's already in his head.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You gotta give him space.
Yeah. All right. So who are your long shots?
I got Corey Connors at 75-1.
Gross.
This feels like you don't have to hit all the putts to win here.
How about any of the putts?
He may miss all of the putts, but he doesn't have to hit all of the putts either.
That's fair. Okay. All right.
Just like, a course where it's like, hey, just don't hit it in the water and you've got a shot. Like, I trust Corey Connors to not hit it in the water. Anything else, I don't really trust him, but he's had a good season. Yeah. He's here without a win.
Fair enough.
I shouldn't say this because I'll say this because it actually means that Keegan definitely wins. I was 50-50 between Connors and Keegan, and I went back and forth on it all week, and I went with Connors. So,
and you picked Connors?
So there you go. That I was going to not say that, but now that I have said it, it's good for you. Keegan is on my season-long fantasy team, so I'll reverse
I know you stole him from me.
I'll reverse the mush for myself.
Yeah.
That way, if he wins,
I was so mad at you that night. I was so mad at you. You took Keegan that night. I was so fucking mad.
I'm a Keegan supporter. I'm not. I'm trying to be objective here. But I always like
when it comes to Keegan.
I always like Keegan when we get to like the Florida area. and the New England area. Everything on the East Coast.
Yeah. And guess you know what I didn't bet him? At fucking Travelers. I was like, he's not winning an elevated event.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Fair to assume that. And will he win a playoff event? Probably not. But maybe this is a new
exactly.
Keegan.
Here we go.
Exactly. I got Justin Rose at 90.
Oh,
I think there's
Jesus.
I know. It doesn't feel good. I'm not like excited about it. But there's a lot of Pebble Beach overlap here with Burgers one, DJ's one. Ches Reavie randomly is like top 10 strokes gained in both of those courses.
You're reaching, but fine.
Yeah, no, I probably am. Even like Andrew Putnam has like good results at both, but they're both like short positional, super windy types of courses.
But Rose legit has not looked good lately.
He's had 3 miscuts in a row. And
right, which is not looking good lately.
But they're miscuts at the US Open, the British Open, and the Scottish Open. So 2 of those are majors. You don't have to be playing. You could play well and miss a cut at a major. Before that, it was like all top 10s.
And he's 90 to 1. He's 90 to 1 in a 70-person field. Yeah,
he's 90
I'm not going to break your balls.
Yeah, and then my last 2 are over 200 to 1, but I've got Shank and Nick Taylor just because they're 200 to 1 in a 70-man field.
Neither one of them are winning. No, neither one of them.
They're but here's the thing. You know what Sepp Straka's odds were last year?
It was like 160, 150, something like that, right?
He was in the same range. He was like a bottom 10.
Did he win?
I mean, he did everything but win. And listen,
all right then.
Listen, if we're in a playoff and it's Adam Shank versus Scotty Scheffler, I'm just gonna hedge it.
Except the books aren't gonna let you. The books are gonna be like, no, sir. No. There's no cash out available here. We all know how this ends.
Yeah. Well, so I'm just looking back. So Straka, before his playoff loss last year, had 7 consecutive missed cuts. 7 consecutive missed cuts.
Right. I remember that. Oh, that's
and he lost 13 strokes total at the Wyndham in 2 rounds the week before. He was lost. And then he got to a playoff. That's why I'm saying this event, anything can happen. Any of these 70 guys are good. So
I can't get behind Shank because that's the guy who used to play in DFS all the time in the 6K range because he used to make all the cuts but never did anything. Like he was just like a safe 6K guy. And then all of a sudden, like the last 2 years, I mean, this was like 4 years ago. But I might be able to get behind Taylor at 200 to 1.
Yeah, I got him at 250. It might still be there. Taylor was 12th in the FedEx Cup standings this year. He finished ahead of Cantlay and Xander.
That's because they both stunk this year.
That's like,
wait, he finished in front of Hatton?
He did. Hatton had a great year. Yeah. He won an elevated event and then he finished second at Phoenix, which is also an elevated event. So he got a ton of points.
I forgot he finished second. See, that's right. I forgot he finished in second.
And he was toe to toe with Scotty. Like he tried. He didn't.
We knew it wasn't going to happen.
No, but I thought he would eject, and he just like didn't.
Yeah, he hung around. You're right.
So he's a player. He's a guy. I haven't actually looked at props yet. Top 20s are a really tough market in a field of 70 because there's just
but if you're not getting dead heated, like I found plus money with English and Griot that I laid down. Shop your own lines, like whatever. I have locals, like who knows, but I don't get I get no chops. But Griot was a decent price, English was a decent price, and I even found Burns at plus money at top 20, which I felt like was like a real strong bet.
Sure, yeah. Actually, MGM's got some pretty good odds here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into some of these 200 plus guys. I forgot about Straka being that bad walking in.
Yeah, no,
because I was still so mad at Straka because I had Lowry. I had Lowry with Straka fucking beat him in Florida. I was so fucking mad.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
Dude, I had so many shitty losses last year. It was like this. What was that stupid Netflix series? Like it was just nothing but a series of my burnt tickets.
I know for me though,
like PTSD. Oh God, dude, that swing!
That was a brutal episode for me.
Yeah, well, so I had Willie Z. I didn't have Mito. I know you're a big Mito guy, but I had Willie Z, and that was just as bad. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about this. And like, at least 3 of the episodes, I had a burnt ticket on. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is fun to relive. This is awesome. What'd you think of Oak Hill when you played it? Guys, I was up there for the major. I was up there for the PGA. Looked really mean. So you played with BK, Andy, and who else you play with?
Just three of us. Yeah, just
Okay.
three of us. Toughest course I've ever played.
Play because his back hurt. Was it?
He was on kid duty, I believe.
I know he was,
but he gave us some good recommend. We played another course, Greystone, a public course nearby. The next day, he gave a nice recommendation for that. That place was a lot more forgiving, a lot more player friendly. Oak Hill is for sure the hardest course I've ever played. It is like I played Bethpage Black a few times, and it's just a hard, like for everything that's hard about Bethpage is just like up a notch at Oak Hill, and the greens, they tucked every pin. Like the crew had a bad morning and they were like, fuck the world. Nobody's making pars today. They That's just awesome. Tucked everything on a shelf, and there's like different tiers to these greens. Yeah. There's these tight runoffs where if you hit the front of the green, it comes back at you, and then it funnels into like a nasty little like death pit lie. I will say I was battling a slice all day, which I have temporarily fixed since.
Don't say that out loud either. Knock on wood.
Temporarily. As of like the most recent round of golf I played, I drove it well, so I no longer have a slice anymore for the rest of my career. But
love it when you fix it.
It's done. For some reason, I just was getting away with slicing it on every hole on the back nine, and I would like hit it into the trees and have a great alley into the green. So
beautiful thing.
Recovered okay, but it was a glorious test, and I'm glad.
I bet.
Glad we
must have just been fun to play too.
Yeah. Oh, and I got Connorsed and Hovlanded by the fairway bunker. Shot it right into the face. And I went into that round. I was like, well, the one thing I'm not going to do is fuck that part up. And then I can leave and be like, I'm better than the pros because I got out of a fairway bunker. Yeah. And it literally the exact same thing happened to me. So
are you now? So Andy's long. Are you as long as Andy is?
There was probably 2 holes that I outdrove Andy, and probably like 14 holes where Andy outdrove me.
Yeah, he's fucking long.
Yeah, Andy is a player, and he is gonna do his best to advance in the member qualifier that they have going in a couple weeks. So I'm pulling for him.
I'm sure he is. All right, John, tell everybody where all your shit is. The lines, PGA Tout. What else you got? Anything?
Yeah, find me on X at PGA Tout. Maybe I'll plug my Venmo
Twitter,
so you can buy me. I'll plug my Venmo on Twitter this week so you can buy me a drink in Montreal on my bachelor party. And before I'm a drunk mess for the rest of this week. Oh, beware of my preview on the BMW next week, because I will not forge coherent sentences for that, and that will be late Monday post. But until then,
no shot.
Yeah, forewarning, don't expect it on Sunday, and whatever you get on Monday, you're probably not going to be super happy with it. Thankfully, I only have to cap it for 50 players, so I think I can get through that.
That's
right. Yeah, and thelines.com, you can find all of my written work, my preview articles, all that good stuff, and we'll have a preview video up tomorrow morning. Too late to call it a preview video because they've recorded it, so we'll have a betting primer video, we'll call it.
There you go.
Yeah, for the St. Jude. But always great catching up with you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
As always for the invite.
Yeah, man. Always. All right. So you guys know you can find me, Boston_Capper on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. Yeah, seriously. John's article and Steve's article are the only 2 preview articles I read all fucking week. And so yeah, go check this shit out, man. Solid dude. Thank you as always. And I'll be back next week. I think Steve's back next week for the BMW. Not sure, but if not, let's break them fucking books this week, boys. For 2 more events left.